Hi, I'm David Delk, president of Man in the Mirror, and just a quick video for those of you who are trying to do men's discipleship in very large churches. One of the things that we find is that there's some unique difficulty that comes along with doing a comprehensive, integrated, sustainable discipleship ministry with men in a large church. And so what we're recommending as we work with these churches is that you really think about doing that type of ministry on three fronts simultaneously. And so one of the things that we need to do is we need to make sure that if we're trying to do a comprehensive approach, that we honor and encourage all the men who are already working with men. And that takes time. It takes work to come alongside them, to say that we're not trying to replace what they're doing, that we respect them, that we appreciate them, that we want to serve them, and that we want the ministry that they already have, the groups that they're doing, or the recreational activities, or the service ministries, or whatever it is, that we want those things to flourish. And so one of the fronts is to work with and honor the men who are already working to disciple other men. A second front is that we really need to take an all-inclusive approach. If you don't understand what we mean by that, I would encourage you to look more at the Man in the Mirror website for the phrase all-inclusive. But basically, the idea is that every interaction we have with any man in our church can be men's discipleship. It can happen in couples groups, it can happen in children's ministry, it can happen through the praise and worship ministry, whatever it is. And so we want to come alongside those leaders and serve those leaders who are discipling men, and find ways to get more men engaged in the family mission trip, or how to connect with the men who are attending our new member orientation weekend. That we want to come alongside leaders of existing ministries and say, hey, you're impacting men, God's using you to transform men's lives, we want to serve you as a men's leadership team. And so one front is working with existing men's guys and helping them know that we're behind them, we love them, we want what they're doing to be even more successful. And then secondly, coming alongside existing ministry leaders and saying, hey, we're for you, we appreciate the work you're doing with men. We're not just going to come and ask your men to go do something else, but we want to see them discipled right where they are, and we want to help you. And so if we work on these two fronts and we do that well, then that allows us to work on the third front. And the third front is our communication, our vision casting to all the men of the church. To come up with a way of talking about men, for example, to say, men of faith, or Hillcrest men, or Iron men, or men of impact, or men of hope, or whatever it may be. And to use that terminology not just about a men's ministry, as a matter of fact we want to get rid of the phrase men's ministry, instead to talk about anything that any man is doing as part of our church, as part of this entire unified whole that we are hoping to create. And so the danger is often that we will roll out a big program or a big announcement about this new movement for first men or men of faith, and all the graphics, and everybody's handing out brochures and all this kind of stuff, and yet we haven't done the work to get those men's leaders really on board with us, and we haven't done the work to get the other leaders in the church on board with us. And often guys can sometimes feel like, okay, here comes another program. And of course we know men's discipleship is not a program. It's a way of thinking about how our church interacts with men. And ultimately it's about recruiting allies, recruiting men who are passionate enough to engage in life and life discipleship with other men. So if you happen to be working within a very large church, I hope this is helpful for you to think about doing ministry with men along these three fronts simultaneously. Connecting with the existing men's leaders who are already doing work with men, connecting with other leaders in the church and other ministries who are impacting men and serving them well, and then creating that atmosphere and that vision that really rallies and gathers all the men of the church to a unified purpose and a unified cause. Thanks so much.